Hey, it's Mike with Tech PB, and let's talk today a little bit about 50 cal. Lot of questions coming in about 50 caliber, and let's start off first off. Let's roll back, kind of go on the time machine here, and let's go back to about the beginning of the year. I started hearing about 50 caliber. I think it was around December of last year that I heard there were some major players that were gearing up a factory in Taiwan. Definitely a lot of commotion that was going on with the whole 50 caliber thing. It was pretty intense around December of 2008. That's about when I started hearing about it. And once they started, getting a little bit more information, more stuff started hitting the market, and people started finding out more and more about it. Dale Ford, who's a good friend of mine, lives over here in Tampa, and if you don't subscribe to the Ford Report, go do it. www.thefordreport.com. Awesome journalist, does a great job of beating the streets, getting news and stuff like that. So I started finding out about there were some major players going to be trying to launch, this 50 caliber, this new 50 caliber format. And so I kind of tried to go to some other websites and just kind of put the feelers out there, and get away from Tech PB, maybe go and visit another, a couple other sites and see what other people thought of it, if anybody had heard anything, this, that, and the other. Probably the most, the comical response that I got was, from the all-knowing, always in the loop people over at M. Carter Brown. I went over to M. Carter Brown, and this was in, January, February, March, April, I think it was in May of this year. I went in M. Carter Brown and said, hey guys, some major players, trying to launch this new 50 caliber, 50 caliber revolution thing, or they're going to try to force this, and they're going to start marketing it really hard. There's going to be a booth at World Cup. The paints, they're working right now on the paint and this, that, and the other. And this was really funny because I got to bring this up because I just want to show you guys that, we knew about this, going back almost a year. And so I go over to M. Carter Brown, just try to see, and I'm trying to just go out of my element, out of Tech PB, and just kind of go visit another site. Go over to M. Carter Brown, and obviously the you want to first go and take a look at post 18, and you're going to see from Carter, obviously people need to check their sources, do a little more thinking for themselves sometimes, which is pretty funny. They basically started accusing me of it being a media planted story in order for me to drive more traffic to my site, which is exactly what I didn't need at the time, because if you guys remember, around that time was when our servers were shutting down because we had too much traffic for what we were, what we actually had allotted to us. And then if you go check the link in the sidebar, it gets even better as you go to post number 25. This is from Carter. Hey, I didn't start the thread. Somebody else with nothing better to do did. And I am bored of this discussion. It sucks and really goes to show how sad some folks are. Consider me done posting in this thread, which actually didn't. He came back and posted more. And then, of course, Drum, who's, knows about as much about paintball as my wife does. This is just another example of fine investigative journalism available, here. Thanks very much to Mike and Tech PB for attempting to perpetuate and disseminate this garbage. Yeah, some garbage now. We got Carter right now. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got 50 caliber and I'm testing it. Yeah, the garbage. See how much garbage it was. You've been duped by a ridiculous bit of lying, and you are lying to us yourself and supporting some fruit bat agenda. Either way, it's an issue of credibility that will hopefully be lost upon your legion of teenage fanboys. One of the most amusing aspects of this rumor mongering, the part that since pro teams are all on board with the switch, the rest of us pro player loving sheep are simply conforming to the product. This went on for like almost a week before they finally locked the thread. I'll spare you reading through all of their bullshit, but we've known about this for almost a year, and this was my attempt to try to get the feelers out there and try to get some information on it. But the best part about it is now that they've actually launched it, and and it's starting to hit the market and this, that, and the other. The best thing I can tell you is I can say fuck you, Carter, and fuck you, Drum. Both of you guys obviously didn't know what I knew at the time, and this only goes to show you guys how fucking out of the loop you guys really are. And next time somebody who knows a little bit more about paintball than you do comes into your forum and tries to share some information with you and have an educated discussion, treat them with a little bit more respect, and you guys won't look like fucking idiots. Hey, look at us, we got 50 caliber guns, we're doing testing now. Yeah, it's really funny, just magically how they've turned on it. But anyway, got a 50 caliber shirt, and got this at World Cup. So what do I think about it? You know, and how should we react to it? And, you know, how should I react to it and this, that, and the other? Right now, we don't have to worry about much of anything. You know, right now we're in the middle of November 2009, and I just do that to timestamp the video because obviously this is all gonna evolve. Paint's not out yet, loader's not out yet, guns haven't been released yet. So, you know, 50 caliber and GI Milson, they have to sell this product to us. You know, they've got to sell this product to us. As far as I know right now, you know, I don't personally plan on switching over to 50 caliber for good, and unless I start seeing a major financial incentive to do so, in terms of if I go to an event and I see, okay, you know what, this paint is going to be $70 for a 68 caliber, and for 50 caliber it's $40, you know, or, you know, if I go to a PSP tournament and I see, okay, 68 caliber is, you know, $50 a case, and 50 caliber is $25 a case, or something like that, you know. They have a long way to go before this is going to affect any of us in terms of even being able to make the choice, you know. And that's basically, I don't think 50 caliber is going to take over paintball. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. I think it's going to be another choice, but they still have a long way to go, and even for that choice to even be taken seriously. You know, I mean, if you can imagine, you know, if you go online right now and you ordered a 50 caliber marker, which I'm still wondering why the hell those markers are more expensive than the standard Smart Parts guns that were the same way. And I know the Vibe, it's going to have a better ASA, and I know it's going to have a better trigger. But, you know, I don't understand why the, you know, the Smart Parts, or I'm sorry, the GI Milson guns right now are more expensive than the 68 caliber Smart Parts clones. So that's got me kind of scratching my head a little bit. You know, it looks like I'm going to have to be, you know, 5 to 10 cases into the mix before I even see the savings back on the gun that I had to purchase, you know, from them if I purchased one from GI Milson. You know, the US prices still have not been released yet. So, you know, right now, in terms of November of 2009, there's really not a lot we have to worry about or anything like that. I was at World Cup, you know, that's why I'm wearing the shirt. I got the shirt at World Cup. I shot the gun, I thought it shot good for an X-ball format, okay? X-ball fields are tiny, okay, compared to scenario and even the, you know, the 7-man fields. X-ball fields are very small. My personal gut feeling, I think it may have a potential in the X-ball format, just because the fields are small and it would be very easy for them to make them slightly smaller. I think also it may have a potential in the rental gun market. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean that, you know, fields have to go and switch over. But let's look at it realistically. People that come out to play paintball for the first time, let's say a church, let's say a office that comes out and play. They don't know what they're spending money on. They're just going out there to the experience to have some, you know, have a good time and shoot their friends and shoot their coworkers and stuff like that, go home sweaty and have a good time. You know, as far as I can tell from when I shot it, the 50 caliber guns hurt a lot less than the 68 caliber, okay, which is why I actually took the gun and shot myself point blank just to see what it felt like. I think that, you know, possibly the rental market would be good. Now, if they can get the cost down, well, the fields could charge the same amount as they would for 68. The people that are coming to rent, you know, the rental market, they don't know what they're paying for. They don't care. They're just there for the experience. Like, you know, I want to put a mask on. I want to hold a paintball gun. I want to shoot my friends. And I want to go home and talk about the stories and just, you know, blow some steam off. They don't know what they're paying for. So maybe if there's a way to get a little bit more profit margin in there for the fields to make a little bit more on the groups, and also at the same time it hurts a lot less, because most people that play rental, you know, most people that are going out there for their first time or they're going out there with a group, you know, they don't look for the hit. They feel the bounce and they call themselves out. You know, everybody, anytime the first time you went out there and played paintball, once you felt the ball hit you, you called yourself out. Well, if you can make that bruise a little bit smaller, well, maybe there's a chance that they'll come back and do it again. So I think that could be a potential market for it. You know, other than that, I don't know. I know right now that they really over-marketed 50 caliber to the point that I think a lot of people are kind of, the marketing itself is actually working against it. A lot of people are really turned off on it. You know, you don't say something's a revolution in paintball. The consumers are going to determine that. You know, it's not a revolution. You don't know it's a revolution until a year or two later. You know, TechBB was a revolution. I didn't think it was going to be a revolution, but it was a revolution. I started, you know, the most watched, most discussed, and highest rated paintball videos with a $100 camera. Okay, that was a revolution. But, you know, GI Milsim with 50 caliber, is that going to be a revolution? Time's going to tell. And there's, you know, they're dealing with 25 years of history. And you know, if they're trying to put a 50 caliber marker in all the players' hands, that's a lot of guns they're going to have to try to replace. And they're going to have to beat the streets for years and years and years to come in order for that round and that caliber even be taken seriously. So what's the best thing to do right now? The best thing to do right now is nothing. Keep playing paintball. Don't worry about it. When the guns hit the market, when the 50 caliber hits the market, wait till they have the demonstration booths at the, you know, at the events, and maybe they'll let you take it out there and play for a game. And that's what I think that would be probably the best way for most people to you know, take the format seriously. Do like what Jack Rice does. You leave him a gun, he lets you borrow his gun, you can take the alien out there on the field, play with it, come back, get your gun back, give him back the alien, and make your decision there. I think that's what they're going to have to do a lot more of. Go to the scenario games, go to the 7-man games, go to the X-ball games, and just sit there and market the hell out of it and see if it's going to be taken seriously. Me, I'm impartial to it. I don't particularly care. I know 68 is not going away. There are going to be ample supplies of 68 caliber paint for years and years to come. Luckily, RP Shear, based right out of here in St. Petersburg, you know, if the shit really hit the fan, I would just drive over there and maybe take some out of the back. I don't know. But 68 caliber is not going away. 50 caliber is just going to be a choice. I don't think 50 caliber is a threat to 68 caliber any more than 43 caliber is that Kingman's using and Rap 4 is using, and Trinity Paintball is using, and some of their, you know, like the real action firearms and stuff like that. They're making these like little pistols and stuff like that. So, you know, 43 caliber, the Kingman pistols aren't any threat to 68 caliber. Neither is going to be GI Milsim. You know, I think it's just going to be a choice that players are going to, you know, it's one more choice that players can have. So instead of having woods ball, air ball, and scenario ball, and only having 68, well, now they're going to be able to say woods ball, scenario, and air ball, and they're going to have the 50 caliber, you know, to choose from also. You know, the volume, being able to carry more paint, that's an advantage. But also at the same token, you don't know if you're going to be able to show up to the field and that field's going to have 50 caliber paint. That's a really bad day if you bought, you know, a 50 caliber gun, showed up to a scenario game, showed up to a tournament, showed up to your local field to play, and they didn't have the paint. So you got to think they've got to saturate all of these markets, all of these fields, all of these tournament scenes, and get it out there for people, you know, people to constantly be seeing it before it's even taken seriously. Right now, settle down. You know, it's not going to take over 68. Go on business as usual. Let's see what happens when it hits the market. But trust me, 68 caliber is not going away anytime soon. It's just going to be a choice. And you know, once the prices hit the market, we'll be able to make better educated, you know, decisions on what the best choice is going to be. My gut feeling is most people are going to stick with their 68 caliber. Some people may go for the 50 caliber. Maybe some rental fleets will go for the 50 caliber. Maybe some teams will shoot the 50 caliber and practice and stuff like that. I don't know yet. You know, I know like Planet Eclipse, they're on to the right thing. They're going to sell a conversion kit for their egos. You know, you drop in a breech, drop in the feed neck, drop in the 50 caliber barrel, go play, take it off, put your ego back together or your E-Tech back together again, good to go. So that's my thoughts on it right now. I hope that helps. You know, I was there, I shot it. You know, I think a lot of people are making a lot more big of a deal of it online than it should be. But, you know, it makes for great conversation. So thanks for tuning in.